What's going on? Dylan Conrad, Metabolic AF. Today I'm going to talk to you about the FASTED macro method. Before I get into that, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, turn notifications on, Spotify, iTunes, hit that bell button, leave a review. All helps the algo. Helps me help more people like you. So before we hop into everything, the macro method, the FASTED macro method, I have had a lot of clients use this method with a lot of success. And I've been talking about intermittent fasting the past few episodes here, and it's something personally for me I've done on and off. I really got back into it when we had the twins I guess they're 7 weeks today. Jesus, they're 7 weeks old. So I've been doing it for the last 7 weeks, and first 8 weeks first I think month, I lost about 8 pounds of fat. Obviously, if you know my physique, like I have a ton of muscle, so I don't have too much body fat to lose. So obviously, the closer you are to a very low 10% body fat if you're a guy, 15% if you're a woman, the slower that goes. So that's a lot of fat in a little amount of time. And I'm going to show you exactly how I did it and how I set my clients up for it, especially for women. Now, men, like, you can just do protein and calories, right? Guys can get away with that, right? But for you women listening, you cannot, right? Protein, carbohydrates, and fats, your macros are going to be queen when it comes to you optimizing your hormones and losing 1 to 3 pounds of fat per week and increasing your metabolism, okay? So let me go into the pros of intermittent fasting. So pros, we have it saves a ton of time. I went through last time. Average American spends 20 to 40 minutes prepping and eating each meal. Inflammation, every time you eat, there is an inflammatory response. Cognitive function, you'll feel a lot clearer when you're not eating. I have notes here. And then the food, it's out of sight, out of mind. Let me just cancel that call. The food, I think the biggest thing is like behavioral focus for intermittent fasting. If you're not eating, you're not really thinking about food, right? A lot of times when you're eating breakfast or snacking and then you're having your lunch, you're thinking about food, what you're going to have, right? It takes up mind share. And also it's like, you have more of a chance if you are eating, throughout, let's say you start eating at 7 a.m., you finish eating at 8 p.m., you have a lot of decisions to make on food and a lot of opportunity to mess up, right? And so if we can shrink that down and get you less meals and less time to eat, your ability to actually adhere to your nutrition plan will go up immensely because you're going to have less room for error, right? So out of sight, out of mind. It's just like a lot of like restrictive dieters, they'll hide like alcohol and they'll put away, all these like chocolates and stuff like that. Not a good behavioral pattern, by the way. We'll get into that in a later episode. The other thing behavioral wise is these meals are that you're gonna be eating when you're fasted. Say for example, you fast until 2 p.m., you stop eating at 8 p.m. You're gonna feel very full and very satiated on this meal. So your opportunity to overeat goes down immensely if you're doing it right. Now, obviously, you want to eat voluminous meals. Make sure you're not eating like just all fats and just carbs, and make sure you're getting protein so you are getting satiated. But like just overall, you're gonna feel a lot more satiated because you're getting more calories in a shorter amount of time. Okay. Cons to intermittent fasting. Number one, I see this all the time. Women come into our program, they've been intermittent fasting. Their metabolism is in the shitter, right? They're eating like 600 to 1,000 calories and not losing any weight. We have to do a reverse diet and build their metabolism back up. So downregulation of metabolism is a huge one for intermittent fasting. It's a huge con that seems to be happening probably 80-90% of the women that come into our program that are fasting before. The second con is you can easily pig out because you get really hungry and then you just like go YOLO and binge eat, and you don't use voluminous eating methods like what we teach our clients. So you got to make sure you have a lot of veg, a lot of high protein, and make sure you are full and satiated. Make sure those meals are very big in portions but very low in calories. Okay. Number 3, this can throw off your hormones doing intermittent fasting because you're not doing macros too, right? It'll throw off your macro alignment. There's a certain amount of protein, carb, and fat for your specific female physiology that will line up to optimize your hormones, right? Your thyroid, your cortisol, your estrogen, your progesterone, your testosterone, all that stuff, okay? Macro method, all those cons I just talked about, eating too little, downregulating metabolism, pigging out because you're so hungry you go over calories, and throwing off your hormones because you're not doing macros. Macro method, the fasted macro method, solves all this, okay? There's a certain amount of protein, carb, and fat that's going to work for your specific female physiology for you to raise your metabolism, for you to burn body fat, for you to optimize your hormones. Like, we're getting you on that. Okay. So you're able to really get all these pros, the cognitive function, the time saving, the inflammatory pros of fasting, but with the actual hormonal optimization and the fat loss from the macro method, right? And the rebuilding of your metabolism. The beauty of macros is it doesn't matter the type of food you're eating, right? It does. Like, yes, you want to eat cleaner foods 80% of the time, but you're not like on a specific, like, inflexible, I have to eat at this exact meal, 3 or 4 times, 5 times a day. And it feels very restrictive and you feel horrible. The beauty of macros is you can eat meals out, you can travel, you can take your clients out and have drinks, you can take your clients out and have meals. You can basically live a life and feel not restricted, and you can have chocolate at the end of the day and wine, all this stuff. And it doesn't really feel like you're on a nutrition plan. It doesn't feel like you're adjusting anything because you're not feeling restricted. Research shows when you feel restricted, you are going to overcompensate and binge in the other direction, right? So we want to make sure this restriction is not in there, and the type of food you're eating does not matter. So maybe your day is some salmon and some quinoa, and then you have like some wine at night. Like, it all fits in. Okay, I'll get in a later episode of how you track your alcohol. DM me on Instagram, by the way, at Dylan A. Conrad. I'll give you my alcohol roadmap so you can make sure you don't have any hangovers. It doesn't rest up your metabolism. You can lose 17 plus pounds while drinking alcohol. Okay. So yeah, the ultimate flexibility is where the macros comes in. You can eat whatever you want. 80-20 rule. So 20% of your overall intake, if you're eating, let's say 1,800 calories, that would be 360 calories a day, 400 calories basically. That's like 3 glasses of wine. Don't go yellow on a school night, but you know what I mean? Like, that's a good amount of cheat foods that you can have, and you'll wake up lighter the next day or feel leaner, right? How to set your macros for specific physiologies. I'll get deeper into this, but just to give you an overall kind of setting your macro standpoint, you want 0.6 to 1.1 grams per pound of body weight of protein. Okay, so protein, 0.6 to 1.1 grams per pound of body weight. So if you are, 180 pound woman, you're looking for basically, I think, I don't know what the exact math is. I think it's 100 to 180 grams of protein, right? And obviously you can go on the lower side, especially women. It's hard to get protein in, so I'd start with 100 and then kind of work your way up if you can. And then with the carbs don't really matter. All that matters is the fat. So if you are perimenopause, menopause, you want to eat about 35% of your overall intake coming from carbohydrates. If you have a normal menstrual cycle or hormonal IUD, which is like a fake menstrual cycle, before you get your period, about 14 days, you want to increase your fat to about 35%. And when you get your period to the 14 days after, you want it to 25%. And that's pretty much it. So you're not going like keto or hyper low carb, because that's horrible for your body. But you are going low to moderate carb, which will allow you to create more insulin sensitivity, eat carbohydrates, store them as energy instead of fat. Okay. If you're not sure how to do macros and track your food, I just made a tracker. DM me on Instagram at Dylan A. Conrad. Let me know that you came from, the YouTuber podcast listening to this, so I know you found me and just not like random reaching out to me. But yeah, I'll give you a how to track your food matrix. Just DM me food tracking or food tracker, and I'll get that to you ASAP. Anyways, love you. Enjoy the rest of your day, and happy whatever day you're listening to watching this on. Bye.